So today, we're going to talk about a really creepy local legend from Bengal. It's about something called the Micho Boot, which literally means the fish-eating ghost. Yep, you heard that right. And we're going to follow the story of one family, what happened to them when they moved into this remote bungalow right by a river and came face to face with this thing.
And of course, like any good ghost story, this one kicks off on a dark and stormy night. Seriously, picture this. A government official. He's just been transferred, and he's moving his family into this super isolated bungalow. The rain is just hammering down, you've got thunder, lightning, and the river next to the house is so swollen it looks like it could swallow the whole village. It's just the perfect recipe for disaster, isn't it?
And right off the bat, we get our first big red flag. As they're being driven to their new house, the driver just casually drops this local superstition. He says nobody, and I mean nobody, crosses the rivers or ponds after sunset. And you can tell from his tone, this isn't just friendly advice. It's a hard rule, born out of some real deep-seated fear. And, well, this family's about to learn exactly why that rule exists.
Okay, so let's get into their arrival. The family finally gets there, totally wiped out, drenched from the rain, and all they want is to just crash. But the house, and that river, they had a very different kind of welcome party in mind.
So, let's meet the family. We've got Tapan Babu. He's the new subdivisional magistrate. Then there's his wife, Mandakini, and their two daughters, Sugandha and Indrani. When they get close, they're met by this old caretaker, a guy named Bhuvan. He tells them he's going to take a shortcut through the village to get to the house. But here's where it gets weird. As the family keeps driving along the riverbank, they see someone walking by the water, and it looks exactly like Bhuvan.
And this is the first moment where you just go, wait, what? Because when they pull up to the bungalow, Bhuvan is already there waiting for them, as if he came from a totally different direction. They're confused, right? They ask him, hey, how'd you get here so fast? We just saw you by the river. But his answer is just cold. He looks them dead in the eye and says, that's impossible. I took the back village path. I didn't go anywhere near the river.
Then, as if that wasn't weird enough, Bhuvan adds this really cryptic warning. He points to the river and says, you know, the riverbank looks beautiful, but it's better if you don't look that way. It's better to stay away. He tries to play it off saying the mud is slippery, but the way he says it, you just know there's something else, something much, much darker he's not telling them.
So, the family kind of brushes it off. You know, they're tired, it's a new place, maybe they were just seeing things. They try to settle in for the night. But when the sun comes up the next morning, that little feeling of unease, it explodes into full-blown terror, because now there's actual physical proof that something is very, very wrong. They find footprints in the wet mud from the storm, but these are not normal footprints. First of all, they lead from the river's edge straight to their front door, not to the river, from it. And here's the kicker, the part that'll make your skin crawl. The footprints are backwards. It's like someone whose feet are literally on the wrong way walked right out of that dark water and paid them a visit.
So you have to ask yourself, right, what kind of creature walks with its feet on backward? This isn't just a random spooky detail. In folklore from all over the world, that is the #1 sign of a ghost, a demon, something not of this world. And for this family, the proof is right there in the mud. It's undeniable, and it is absolutely horrifying.
Okay, so leaving creepy footprints isn't enough for this thing. It's done with hints. It's ready to make direct contact. And its first target? The family's 16-year-old daughter, Sugandha.
So Sugandha is walking to the market, and down by the river she spots this girl. And this girl is described as just breathtakingly beautiful, like supernaturally beautiful. She has these huge, coal-lined eyes, a long, thick braid, just a face that you literally can't tear your eyes away from. And Sugandha is totally captivated. It's such a classic trope in these stories, isn't it? The beautiful, alluring mask hiding something absolutely monstrous underneath.
They start talking, just a friendly chat, but then the girl asks this really bizarre, almost pushy question. In a thick local dialect, she says, I want to eat fish. Will you give me fish? Just out of nowhere. It's such a weird thing to demand from a total stranger, and it gives us our first real clue about what this thing really is and what it's hungry for.
So just then, Sugandha's sister calls out to her, and she turns her head for maybe a second, a single second. When she looks back, the girl is gone. I don't mean she walked away or ran off. She just vanished. Poof, gone. At this point, there is zero doubt left in Sugandha's mind. Whatever she was just talking to was not human.
And that brings us to the real climax of this whole thing.
Later that day, Sugandha is walking home from the market. The sun is going down, it's getting dark, and that weird encounter from earlier is about to turn into a full-on, terrifying chase. The ghost isn't playing games anymore.
And the way the terror builds is just so methodical, so deliberate. First, it's just the encroaching darkness near the river. Then, this awful, putrid smell hits her, like rotting fish. She gets that prickly feeling on her neck, that sense that someone is walking right behind her, just out of sight. And then, a voice starts whispering to her from the shadows.
It's this low, gravelly whisper, and it says, "Give me the fish." It's the same thing the beautiful girl asked for, but this time it's not a polite question. It's a demand, an order coming from some unseen horror hiding in the darkness.
Sugandha is, of course, absolutely terrified. She clutches her market bag and just starts walking faster. And the voice gets angry. It shifts from a creepy demand to pure, menacing rage. It basically screeches, "You won't give me the fish?" You can just feel the aggression, the impatience. This thing is not used to being told no. She breaks into a full sprint, runs for her life, and finally bursts through the door of her house. You'd think that's the end, right? She's safe. But no, this is where the story takes its final and honestly, its most horrifying turn. See, the ghost didn't get the fish, so decided to take something else instead, something much, much more valuable. So Sugandha collapses at the doorstep, a sobbing, terrified mess, and tells her mom what happened. And her mother does what a lot of parents would do. She tries to be the rational one. She chalks it up to fear, to the spooky stories of a new town. She tells Sugandha to get some rest, thinking the danger was all in her head, and now they're safe inside. Oh man, she could not have been more wrong.
So, late that night, Mandakini wakes up. She hears a noise coming from the kitchen. She gets up to check it out. And she finds her daughter, Sugandha. But she's not getting a glass of water. She's crouched on the floor in the dark. And as her eyes adjust, Mandakini is hit with this scene of pure horror. Sugandha is tearing into the raw fish they bought at the market, just devouring it. And her face, her clothes, they're just smeared with blood and guts.
Her mom screams her name Sugandha, and the girl looks up. But the voice that comes out of her mouth is deep, it's guttural, it is not her daughter's voice. And it says, "It fed me fish, now I will live with it." The ghost couldn't take the fish from her, so it took her instead. It got inside. Which is a truly chilling thought to end on, isn't it? What happens when the monster is no longer outside your door, but inside your own home?